All right, today we're tying the Griffith's gnat. This is a super simple fly, but a super productive fly. And I think it's one of the first flies people learn how to tie when they start tying flies. So you're gonna start winding some thread from the eye down the shank. And I'm using some 6/0 black thread for this particular fly. This is the smallest hook size fly I've tied. So this was pretty fun, trying to get a little bit smaller, and it had some unique challenges, but I think it turned out pretty good. So you're gonna wind back towards the back side and let your thread hang there. I'm using some green dyed Rooster Hackle, and you can see here it's pretty thin, and you want to peel off the back portion of the feather itself to give it some space to be able to hold on to the hook itself. And so I put a attaching loop, and then once you're happy with it, you can start putting some pressure to really lock it in there. And you want just a little bit of portion of the feather without the ends on it right towards the beginning, because when you first start wrapping, you want to get a couple wraps towards the back before you start getting some of those pieces showing up. So I clipped off the side that I didn't need, and then got it attached and brought my thread back towards the front part of the hook. And then I got some Peacock hurl, and you're gonna wanna use some of the smaller portions right above the eye. And those are some of the smaller portions on a peacock feather. And again, that size correlates with this hook size. And so I cut off about 5 to 6 pieces off of there just for my particular feather. And got it loosely attached, and you can pull it through to really get it right to where you want it. Some attaching loops on there to really make sure it locks down. And then I trimmed the front part of this off. I think if you were a little bit more intentional, you could probably pull that peacock back through your loops and not have any trimming to do. But I didn't do that, and so I had to trim some of that, the back part of that off. Again, a few more attaching winds, and you want to have your thread resting back towards the front part of this to attach the peacock on the other end. And you want to wind this semi-evenly. I found, I don't know if it's my big hands or what, but it's easier for me to wind this stuff using the rotary vise and not just going around and around with my fingers. Again, you might be different, but I just use my vise, and it helps me get a lot more even attachment. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let me know down below some tips and tricks and things you've learned tying maybe the Griffith's gnat, or other things that'd be helpful as you guys are watching these videos. I like that we're learning and growing together, and so yeah, let me know down below as we go about this. So then you got to go through and attach the edge of this peacock again to the end of the hook, and then all these other little pieces here you can trim off, you're not going to need, and keeping enough room behind that eye for the thread to sit, but also for you to be able to get line into the edge of this fly. I use my finger to kind of keep that eye clear. There's also a really simple tool you can use that helps to keep the front part of your flies a little bit more presentable than mine. Then you're gonna take the hackle here, and I'm using a pair of hackle pliers. You can also just use your fingers to wind this around, starting with the back, moving back towards the front. and you want to give fairly uniform winds. You can kind of be a little bit creative with how you wind them. I've seen these wound both very, very heavy on the hackle and very, very light on the hackle. I try to strike a balance with this one. Not too heavy, not too light. I think both fish a little differently depending on where you're fishing. But I do think that you can play around with it a little bit and maybe go a little bit heavier on some, lighter on some, see what do better in your particular fishing areas that you're fishing in. Tying this one, I used this green dyed hackle, and with the Peacock hurl, I thought the green on green really turned out pretty cool. I think they're different shades of green, but at the same time, it looks pretty natural, and I'm really excited to get this in the water and see how it looks floating, but also see what the fish think of it. Once you get this back towards the front, you can again tie off that final leading tip. I use both hands in this portion just to get a few loops on there to hold it down before I switch back to my other hand once I'm confident that it's secured on there. You can trim off the rest of the feather that you don't need, and then put a few more loops just to hold everything down on the front of it. This particular fly doesn't really have a need for head cement, but you obviously can use that if that's more confidence inspiring for you. Once you're happy with it, you can get your whip finisher and put a few finishing loops on the end of this. And again, I think trying to keep the little pieces of that Rooster Hackle out of the loops as you can. I had to go back a couple times and make sure I wasn't looping any of those into the whip finish, and then pull it tight, and then give it a trim. And there you have the Griffith's Gnat. I hope you enjoyed this one. It was super fun to tie, and I hope to see you on the next one. Happy tying!